Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chrome Cardboard Podcast. I am Gareth Smith, and today I'm joined by my usual co-host, Stephen.
Hello.
And we're joined by a new addition to the Chrome Cardboard team, and we
Hello.
have Kieran. Welcome, Kieran.
Oh, thanks for having me, Gareth. It's good to be here with the both of you, finally, at last.
It is. It's good to have you on board, but obviously, it's all well and good us obviously just throwing someone new on, but do you want to tell us a little bit about your history when it comes to TCGs?
Yeah, so I've been playing TCGs for a good few years now. I've played Commander. I still actively play Commander. I used to play Lorcana, as you both know. That's how I know you two. I also play One Piece. I play One Piece a lot. That's my main TCG these days. So yeah, I've got a decent background. Good variety. I'm looking forward to playing some Cyberpunk. It offers something a bit different than your usual TCG, I think. So excited to get into it and see how it goes.
Yeah, it's going to obviously. I think we've all backed it at this point, and it's all at the stage now where we're obviously with the surveys and all that kind of stuff. I've paid for my postage of VAT, so and obviously, isn't there another thing they're saying about they have to have them done fairly soon, otherwise there's potential people having delays. Isn't that what we've seen a post from Cower today?
Yes, I believe it was the 2nd of July. Everything needs to be done by.
Yeah. And then you start getting payments. I think it was from 2nd onwards. I think there was a few people surprised by the VAT payments in Discord.
Yeah.
Well, I originally was, but it was good that I was able to tell Steve how much it was going to cost him because mine came out because I was a pay in full, whereas he was a overtime backer. So basically, at least he knew what the future hit was going to look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously make sure if you are someone who has not done your survey yet, get that done because you don't want any delays on you getting hold of these cards. Particularly bear in mind, we're going to start talking about some today, and we're going to talk about blue. Blue is a colour that seems to be all about lowering the gig values of various cards. So let's start off at this point and start looking at some of these cards. So first card we're going to look at is a legend. It is a 5-cost legend, 2 RAM, Corpo Merc. It is V Corporate Exile. It is a go solo ability, which means it can be played as a solo, it can be played as a ready unit, and it can attack the turn it comes in. Now, the other thing about this, it is also a 5-power legend, which means it's not going to be very hard to get this to 10 and above to steal more than 2 gigs. So, Stephen, what are we thinking of our first legend here?
Yeah, solid. I mean, 5 cost comes out with 8 power. You've already, if you're in red, you attach a Mantis Blade while it's in the legend zone. This comes out, hits for 10. You're taking 2 gigs. Seems solid to me.
Yeah, it seems quite a good, solid addition. Obviously, it seems to work quite nicely, I think, with the red cards by the looks of it. From what I've seen, with it being about big units and swinging hard and basically taking gigs. So, Kieran, obviously, your first time reviewing a card here with us. What do you think of V?
I think it's really good. Like Steve just said, just, expanding on them points. You can get it out easy, cheap, quick, and with a Mantis Blade, which is one of my favourite cards so far. You swing them big, quick, 10 swings, getting 2 gigs, is it, if it gets through?
Yeah.
For 6 cost with a Mantis Blade on. Seems pretty good to me.
And bearing in mind, you technically can get this out if you are on the draw here. You're basically able to get this out turn 2, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So turn 2, you're getting an 8-powered unit on board.
Yeah.
But it seems very powerful to me.
Well, I mean, if you combined it with red, if you combined it with red, and you get a bit lucky, you've got a Mantis Blade in hand. You pay 1 to call a legend. You flip V. You attach like using the other your other Eddie on the play. You attach it while it's in the legend zone, and then you just sell, and then flip it turn 2. Even on the play, that's really good. That's a very aggressive start.
Oh, that's a crazy aggressive start. Yeah. Just out of the gates 10 into, try and get gigs. Like, okay.
So
it's also not going to be very easy to get rid of something with 10 power that early. That's the other thing I think we need to be mindful. Obviously, 8 not easy to get rid of that early. 10 is going to be really hard. Yeah. So, quite an impactful card here, the Corporate Exile. But let's look at another legend we have. We have Alt Cunningham. the Soul Killer Architect. This is a 2-round legend, Merc and a Netrunner, and you can exert your next program this turn. Plays for -1 Eddie for each friendly min gig, to a minimum of 1. For 1 Eddie, you can play a program from your trash, bottom it after you play it. Seems pretty interesting to me, Kieran. What are your thoughts?
First impressions, I think it's okay. I think it might be more of a mid to late game card where you're going to get more value out of it. The only issue I potentially see is trying to get the gigs to minimum. It's a lot of luck involved in that. Unless we see a lot more cards, which can bring down your gig values easily and quickly. Otherwise, I don't feel like you're going to get a lot of value from it. Playing a program from trash, bottom deck after you play it, that's pretty solid. I think it can have a place. I think it's going to have to be in decks specifically synergized to play around it. As opposed to it's not a card you can just throw in. It's just a good blue card in general. I think it's got a specific place in the game. But it's not my favourite card at the minute. But I don't know what you guys think.
Steve, what are your thoughts?
It's an interesting one. I definitely agree with Kieran when he said it's something that you'll see more in the late game, because if you want to lower the cost of your programs, obviously you've got to have gigs on board. But even in the early game, paying 1 less for something if you've rolled a 1 doesn't seem that bad. It's just again you've got to have flipped there. You've got to have these things on board. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through, in my opinion. But playing a program from your trash seems very good to me. That's the bit that I think we'll see a lot more of, because you can just do that. That's a recurring ability. So if you pack your deck full of programs and then you're just getting to play them multiple times, that can be quite detrimental depending on the effect that you're getting. But obviously we have to see the good cards come through. But yeah, that's just the way I'm seeing it.
And particularly when you pair it with a card we saw last week in red, where it was basically you trash 3 cards and kept a unit. What was that card called?
All is lost, I believe.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, all is. If you pair it with that, for example, suddenly it's not such a bad thing that you are trashing that program there. You get it back and you get to use it.
I do like the bottom bit now you said, because you get to put the card back to your bottom deck as well, don't you? After you've played it. So you're getting it back from trash, playing it, and then getting it back in the pile to potentially get it again. So
if there's ways of shuffling the deck, you might see that again. So there's a lot of recurring value, but obviously the programs have got to be worth doing, because obviously you've got to get units on board to attack. You've got to be able to be in the game to actually use these abilities. Otherwise, you're just going to get blown out the water. So it just depends on how good the effects are, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed. Our third legend is Evelyn Parker. Beautiful Enigma. She is a doll, and when a friendly corpo or gang unit steals 1 or more gigs, ready 1 Eddie. That rhymed far too well there. And then for 1 Eddie, exert ability, a rival unit must attack next turn if it can. I actually quite like this card on first reflection. I think there's quite a lot you can potentially do with that. Particularly if there are some good corpo and gang cards, and we've already seen a couple. Very interesting cards. Steve, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, no, I like this. Seeing a little bit of tribal going on already, which is always a nice thing. So you build your deck around corpos or gangers. Getting to ready eddies is never a bad thing. It's ramp without really ramping. So yeah, I'm a big fan of it. The second ability...
It reminds me of Star Wars, Steve. Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Which was a broken card in that game.
Well, we've seen a ban in set 3 from that card. Yeah. So I mean, it's a good ability. I think the second ability is really interesting. Obviously, if you've got blockers and then making them attack so that they get rid of their blockers, for example, a Meredith Strout, seeing how impactful that card's been already. I think this could be a good way of getting a blocker out the way. But yeah, interesting card.
And Kieran, is there any additional thoughts you have on Evelyn here? Any thoughts?
No, I agree with Steve. I think it's a pretty interesting one. I mean, again, with these blue ones, I'm interested to see what other cards we get revealed, which sort of synergize well with them. Ready and Eddie is always good, especially if you want to play a bit of defense. You can keep on up for, on your defensive turn if you want to do something with that. Rather unit must attack. That can be good for getting rid of the blockers, like Steve said. But I guess you could, if you were pairing this with yellow, maybe, then you could play Cyber Psychosis as well, and then force them to attack with something equipped, and then get rid of it with Cyber Psychosis. Little combinations like that, maybe. I think it's an interesting one. I'm interested in testing this out and seeing what we can do with it, to be fair.
Yeah. And then when you consider some, obviously, the red cards we looked at last week, where you obviously had El Sombrero on, would trigger this, because he's a ganger. You've got Meredith Stout, she's a corpo. You've got Royce, he's a ganger as well. So you've got quite a few options, only from the red cards we viewed last week, that synergize with this. So it's quite an interesting card for me. I think it's one there's some real good options. Because bearing in mind, as I say, some of those cards we reviewed last week said how great. We already said how great El Sombrero was last week. And he's going to swing and steal gigs. He's potentially stealing two. So, good card for me. Very one that I'll be very interested to play test and see what it does. Then we move on to one that we saw from the Alpha Kits. Jackie Wells, pour one out for me. The first time you play a blue unit or a blue gear each turn, you may decrease a friendly gig by up to 2. If it becomes a min gig, draw 1. So, you mentioned earlier about trying to get stuff down to min gigs might be hard.
Yes.
Jackie makes that a little bit easier, doesn't he, Kieran?
He does. He makes it a lot easier. First time you play blue unit or gear, you get to decrease a friendly gig. Pretty good. You get draw 1 as well. So if you are pairing up with, was it Old Cunningham, the one that we were chatting about, you get to use Alt Effect, and you get the card draw off Jackie as well. But I like it. But depending on what else we see, because for me, there's still a lot of luck going to be involved with these kind of synergies and what you actually roll on the dice. No, my luck, I'll be rolling ones anyway, so I'm cool. But if you're high rolling, it could sort of be a bit of an issue in the deck, and I'm not sure how you play around that. If you just high roll or get everything, good rolls, what do you do then? It kind of stumps the deck a little bit.
Yeah.
If you get what I'm saying with that, Steve.
I think it also impacts what gig you take off your opponent. I think that heavily dictates, whereas in some decks you might try and lean towards taking away the biggest gig, whereas in this you might be looking specifically for their smaller dice.
Yeah.
To try and get your maximum value out of this.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, no, I mean, I find it really interesting that the change in this has gone to decrease dice rather than increase it, because it was increasing then if you had a gig at max val draw 1. So I like the change, because actually it works against what like the Arasakas want to do. The Arasaka units want to have big dice. They want to have more street cred. So if you're manipulating the dice constantly, it really throws off their game plan. So I think there's a lot more to this than just building your own synergies in. So yeah, no, I'm interested to see how it'll play out. Probably not one that I'm going to go for early on, but definitely one I'll keep an eye on, because I think it could be a really good disruption tool. But yeah, I think it's an interesting card.
Obviously, Jackie obviously being a fan favourite from the actual game as well. So you have people who will be trying to build stuff around it, particularly with the character involved as well. There, I think, also adds to that card as well. We'll then move on to our first unit overall. We have Evelyn Parker, a Scheming Siren, who's a 2-cost. 3 RAM unit, which means you need to be playing 2 blue legends to be able to use her. She has 0 as power, and then on attack, draw 1. Then if you have more street cred than a rival, discard 1. Units with 0 power don't steal gigs. So Interesting one for me, this one. What do you think about this, Steve?
I think it works perfectly with what we've seen so far with what Blue wants to do. You play this, if you're on the play, you play this turn one, you attack, you don't steal a gig, you draw the card. It's a really strange draw engine, but a draw engine nonetheless. But obviously, if they get a blocker out, like they can play Meditative Shroud for 4. It just kills it straight away. So you've paid 2 to draw 1 basically. That's the way I see it. So interesting one, but not something I think will be massively impactful. I think it works well with what the cards we've mentioned, but yeah, not one for me.
This one you're going to be play testing, Kieran, at all?
I'll play test it. I'll play test Everton, give Everton a go and see what works. But just on reading that, I don't think it's going to be a massively popular card. I mean, it's okay. It's like C says, it's basically pay 2, draw 1, which is fine. But there might be more optimal plays to be given. I think you will guarantee the draw 1 because I don't see anyone specifically trying to answer this. On their first turn. I think you just let it draw and swing into it, don't you?
Yeah.
But it's fine. I say I don't think it's no game changer or nothing. But
I think you get the draw no matter what.
Yeah.
It does depend how petty you want to be. Like if you want to deny him a draw card early, then
okay.
fine.
Let me rephrase, Gareth. Anyone other than Gareth will not be trying to get rid of this turn 1.
If we ever do gameplay on the channel, you'll see how Gareth likes to target one person.
There's Petty, and then there's Gareth.
Listen, it serves you right for swinging at me blocker early. That's on you.
But I think you get the draw regardless, because if this unit attacks, it's just on attack. So when you declare the attack, you get the draw. So I think you always get at least one. But if they've got a blocker, they just block and they just take it out the game. You know what I mean? I just don't see it being massively impactful, personally. But
I think it's one of them cards where it's I'm in a bit of a bind. I'll just pay 2 to draw 1 kind of thing. And see what I can cycle out. I don't see it being much more than that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So we then move on from Evelyn over to Psycho Squad. It is a 4-cost 1 RAM unit, which basically means it can go in any blue deck. It is NCPD and it has 6 power. Vanillas aren't often the thing cards people want to talk about often, but in this game, because they seem to be quite larger characters, I think the vanillas often in this game are actually quite interesting. What do you think of our Psycho Squad here, Kieran?
I quite like it. As like I say, as far as vanilla goes, it's pay 4, you get a 6 beta body on board. It's not the easiest to get rid of. It's also pretty good swinging. It will clear a lot of the stuff that we've seen revealed so far. Because lots of firepower and below cards from memory. So I think it's fine. It's solid. It does the job. I'll say it can be pretty sticky because to get rid of it early game. Because if you're playing it on 4, you're gonna have to be attaching gear to other cards and then trying to get rid of it. I think it's solid. It's not sort of massively excited about. I think it's a solid card and it does the job. Which is what it's there for. So,
what about yourself, Steve? Obviously, I say most games, vanillas are ones you move on quite quickly, whereas in this game, because they all seem to be bigger than everything else, I think they have a bit more to them. What do you think about that?
Yeah, very middle of the road. I like the fact that it's only a 1-cost RAM unit. So obviously, if you just splash in blue in a deck, then it's just an easy include. It's a great turn, like turn 1 on the draw. Like, here's a 6-card unit that I can swing with. So, yeah, I mean, very middle of the road. Very, very average card, but we'll definitely see play, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed. And then we move on to a card that's been fairly newly revealed this week. So we got Lizzie Wizzy, Delicate Weapon. She is a 5-cost 2 RAM unit, so she can still go in every blue deck. She is a rocker, and then when you play, you may play a program with 3 cost or less from your hand or your trash for free. Bottom deck it after you play it. She is a blocker, and it is 2 powered. Playing stuff for free in card games is usually pretty good, Steve. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, no, I'm liking this. One thing that I'm really excited about with this is the rocket keyword. We're really getting we're getting the archetype together. So basically, we're getting the band back together, and Johnny Silverhand's going to be a legend, and there's going to be some sort of band synergy out there, and I'm really looking forward to that because we've got Kerry in red, we've got Lizzie Wizzy in blue, and she's playing stuff for free. Kerry's drawing your cards. I'm liking where this is going. Here being a blocker as well is just fantastic. Like if you like your turn one is you play all is lost, you trash your program. Play this turn two because you've got 5, you've got a blocker, and you get to play a program for free. That's a really solid start to the game. So yeah, no, I'm a fan of this, and the rocket archetype. I'm all in.
What about yourself, Kieran?
I agree with Steve. I think it's a really good card. I think it's going to see a lot of play, and also, like he just said, seeing if we get Johnny Silverhand and what we can do with that, it will be good. I think, paying 5, you get a block out, you get to get something back from trash to play, and then you still, like before, we said you get it back in your deck as well at the end of it. It's pretty good. I mean, what more do you want for paying 5?
And if you compare that with, obviously, we mentioned the All Is Lost card as well earlier from Red. Yes. You've got the likes, obviously, wasn't it V as well that likes to play around with brain dance cards and stuff like that with your program. So there's quite a lot, again, some quite good links there, I think. It's an interesting card, obviously, with it being we all know how powerful the blocker keyword is. Having played the alpha kit, if you didn't have blockers, those games seem to go downhill badly if your opponent had them. Because you weren't able to steal a gig back and they were just stealing all yours. So it definitely feels like a good card.
I feel like I like blockers that you can just buy you another turn as well. Worst case, just throw a few blockers down and I'll buy myself a turn and see what I can do. So, I am liking the play programs from trash and put them back in your deck. The few cards you see, I'm liking the idea behind that. So I'm interested to test that out.
And to be fair, I'm guaranteeing Steers, because having played with Steer many different card games, Steer's always a fan of trash usage in games, whether it be the graveyard in Magic, whether it be discard in Lorcana. You've always been a fan of bringing stuff back from that, so surely this is one you're definitely testing.
Yeah, card advantage, that's what card games are all about. It's how you can generate an advantage over your opponent. So, yeah, definitely one I will be playing with.
Our next unit is a 5-cost Mamam Brigitte, Spirit of Death. It is a unit. It is a Mystique Netrunner Voodoo Boys. It is a 4-ram unit, which you need the 2 blue legends to use this. And when you play it, you may discard 2 programs. If you do, bottom deck a rival unequipped unit. And it has 3 power itself. So we're seeing some synergies from some of the stuff we've seen previously about getting programs out of your trash there. So, Kieran, what are our thoughts on this one?
I quite like it. Upon first read, it reads quite well. And like you just mentioned, it synergizes as well with a few of the previous cards we've just looked at. You can play it, you get your programs in the trash, and the next turn you can get them back out for free. And bottom decking a rival unequipped unit with no cost restriction is pretty good as well. Like, if it's just unequipped and you can get rid of some big bodies by doing that, and they can swing the game. So I like it on first impression. I think this is a pretty good card. I'd definitely be testing out, and I think it will see a lot of play. And it does synergize very well. But that second thing for me is really nice. Any unequipped card unit just gone. Yeah. Game swinger, I think. I don't know what you think, Steve.
Yeah, I think the important thing that we need to touch on with this is that it can hit it can hit go solo legends.
Yep.
Because if they've not equipped, if they've just played V really quickly and you can't deal with the 8 powered unit, you just play this, discard 2, and then get rid of V. Like, that to me just seems absolutely broken. And then obviously if you're playing this discard 2 programs, there's no way you're not bringing them back with some of the cards we've already spoke about. So yeah, I think this is definitely a good card. I'm not a fan of the body. 3 power's a bit low, but for the effect, I think you can forgive that.
Yeah.
And if you throw that in, say your opponent is played, they've gone all in on an Atom Smasher, the one that I think's got 15 power to it. Just put that on the bottom, mate. You like that's not a 9 cost unit just been thrown straight to the bottom. That can't be a bad thing, surely.
No, absolutely not. The thing is, and I having played with that Atom Smasher a little bit, you kind of when you get to the 9 resources, you're hoping that they don't answer that unit. If they have an answer to that unit, you kind of lost the game because you need to swing with it to get the gigs back. But I mean, this just completely just takes that out of the game. So yeah, I mean, for anyone that likes to ramp, myself included, I will be keeping an eye on this card and making sure I'm playing around it when I'm against any blue or double blue decks.
That's the problem, isn't it? You're gonna have to play around it. Now, that's most blue decks are probably going to run this as a free off. So if you are ramping to a big body, you're forced to try and play around it.
Yeah.
Which makes it interesting in itself.
Impactful, just impactful cards, and that's what we need. So
for 5 costs as well, I've seen so much value in a 5 cost card for me. But
I think as well the fact that you obviously have to pay attention to what your opponent's playing. If you're seeing the 2 blue legends, the risks there of disappearing. So your big scary unit might be bottom of your deck before you have a chance to use it. So
it potentially delays your turn as well.
It's really important.
Yeah, because if you have got the Atom Smasher, you're hesitant to then play it on curve when you can, and you might want to wait an extra turn to then play it and equip something to it to save it. So also just knowing your opponent could play it puts you back a turn potentially. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
We will then move on to another unit. We have the MTOD 12 Flathead. It is a 3 ram unit, which therefore means you have to have 2 blue legends. It is 5 cost. It is sellable, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Which is a unit you can sell. It is a drone, a Militech, and if you have less street cred than a rival, this unit cannot be blocked. Which is interesting, because again, this is a word change, because I'm pretty sure if it was above a certain amount previously, it couldn't be blocked.
Yeah.
What are thoughts on the change on this one, Steve?
Yeah, no, again, fits perfectly with the blue synergies. What blue wants to do, this is an automatic 3 of, just because it's sellable. A sellable unit. A sellable unit. This is the first one we've seen, or the first one that we've looked at, and that to me just is a bit of a game changer because you're getting the 2 for 1, aren't you? You're getting something that you can put in as a resource, and you're getting something that you can play out onto the board. So yeah, automatic 3 off for me in any double blue decks.
Kieran, 7 power isn't anything to sniff at either. What do we think?
It is not. 7 power is great, and the fact that you can make it unblockable. It is great, unblockable 7 power. I'll take that. And like Steve touched on there, you can sell it. So I don't see no reason to not run this as a free off in blue decks at the minute. It's just, again, for the value you're getting out of this card for 5 is really good in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it synergizes as well with the blue cards. So yeah, looks good.
100% agree on that one. And so we'll then move on to another unit. We have a modded Kasangi. I butchered the Japanese names, so I apologise in advance. It is a 6 cost 2 ram unit. It is a Tiger Claw vehicle. It has adrenaline. This unit can attack the turn it's played. At the end of the turn, return this unit to its owner's hand. It has 8 power. So, what do we think of this, Kieran?
First impressions, it's solid. I don't know. The return it to its owner's hand is just putting me off for a little bit. I mean, it could come in with adrenaline, as it's called on this, and sneak you a late game gig. But then, I don't know, it feels to me like it's one of them cards you're going to play it with the hope to turn the game or win the game. And if you don't, then you're probably going to lose on the clock back kind of card is what I'm getting from it. I'm not overly excited when I think by it. I'll test it out, see how it works. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking so far. What are you thinking?
So it's interesting for me. To be honest, one of my favourite artworks I've seen in the game, though. What I will say, that dragon looks pretty cool on it. I do worry about keep having this unit coming back to my hand over and over again. What are your thoughts on that, Steve?
So I think it's a very situational card. The problem with a card like this is that it's not sellable. If you could put this down as a resource like you can in other games, like Star Wars, for example, like this would be one of the best cards out there because you just resource it when you don't need it, and then you get to use it when you do need it. But what I will say is, like, either you're gonna steal gigs with this, and then have nothing on board, and then have to pay the 6 for it again, or it's gonna come out and take out a unit. So like, it might get around like a blocker, and then you can attack with your other things. But again, it's just too situational. I think if you were gonna run this, I think it'd be like a one-off. I don't think you want to see it all the time. So.
You don't want to equip anything to it either, though, do you, Steve? You don't want to equip anything to this because it goes.
Exactly, and that's why it's got 8 power, because it just comes out, it swings, and then it goes back to your hand. But as you said, returning it back to your hand, it then just bricks your hand. You're not really getting to do much with it. So, yeah, I mean, if it does see play, I think it'll be a one-off. I don't think it'll be massively impactful, but
I think it's on cards. It'll end up being more of a brick than it is useful. If you run it, unfortunately.
It's too situational. It really is too situational.
No, I agree.
The only thing I do like it for is if you want to get rid of a pesky Legends with a Go Solo ability, it does one-shot quite a few of them that we've seen. So that is a good thing for it, because obviously it puts them down resources as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing is...
You have for it.
Again, though, like a lot of the games that I've played, people are loading up the legends before they flip them. So 8 doesn't feel like you can actually come in and kill and take something out. I mean, like, it trades with a V if they haven't equipped it with anything. So that's not too bad. But yeah, I mean, paying 6 to just trade with one of their legends doesn't feel great.
No, it's
more of a stall tool. No. It's more of a stall tool, like to slow the game down. But yeah, not the most impactful card we've seen.
So let's now move on to a card that I actually really like. Placide, the Voodoo Sentinel. He's an 8 cost 2 ram, so it goes in every blue deck. He's a ganger, which we've already seen. There's some ganger synergies from earlier. He's a net runner. He's a voodoo boy. He has an on play and on attack ability. You may discard 1 program if you do bottom deck a rival unit. We've already seen the other synergies of being able to get stuff out of your trash as programs and play it. This is probably my favourite blue card I've seen so far. Kieran, what do you think of it?
I really like it. This is the first time I'm looking at this blue card. I'm reading it. It seems pretty powerful. It synergizes as well with, was it Oath or Evelyn Parker, was it? The Ganga synergy.
Yeah.
And on play and on attack, you can discard programs. So it's a good board clearer. Just bottom deck a rival unit as well. Again, any unit. I love that idea behind that. You can just bottom deck a big card, play this down, and your add and smash is gone. Whatever you've got down there is gone. And then on top of that, you get to discard the program, and you get to feed into the blue synergy or the Ganga synergy, or whatever it is you're going for. So yeah, first impressions, I think this is really good. And it's only 2 rammers there to play as well.
So every blue deck.
Yeah, I don't see any drawbacks in this card, to be honest. I think people are going to be playing it. It's going to see a lot of play. And it's going to be a very impactful card as well.
And Steve, when you look at it, it's got 10 power, which you know what that means. That's also 2 gigs early. What do you think of that? Well, not early.
Yeah, no. to be honest with you, I mean, like, you look at the cards that we've looked at already, and like, these we've seen some of the ramp cards in yellow, so I think you can get up to 8. By the time you've rolled your third dice, you could have this on the board if you play the game correctly, and you're basically just removing something of theirs every turn. I mean, that's unbelievably powerful if you can get this out and like protect it.
Yeah, if you can't answer this, I feel like it's game.
Yeah, 100%. Especially if you do get the right cards in hand, and you're able to ramp and get up to 8 quite quickly. Then like you don't even need to go solos. You just literally this just wins you the game outright.
Yeah.
And we already know how powerful on play and on attack effects are in games. Like any effect that is repeatable, not just when you play it, because on-play effects are always feel more impactful a lot of the time in games. But having that as an on-play effect, and then every time you attack, because you're not attacking with this big 10 power unit, it feels so impactful.
That's good. The only thing it's a tiny drawback, is you have to discard the program to bottom deck arrival.
Yeah.
So there is a world where you've run out of programs in hand. And you can't get its ability on every attack, which, minor inconvenience, all things considered, or just one thing to think about with the deck building and stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think obviously you need to build a decent number of programs to be able to get it to work, but we've already seen that where we can bin them and then get them back, so I think it's definitely one that if I'm building a blue deck, this is an auto-include for me.
Yeah.
We're now going to move on to our first gear. It's Dying Knight V's pistol. It is a merc weapon. You can equip it to a friendly unit or face-up legend, and on attack, decrease a gig up to 2. At the end of your turn, if the unit named V, if this unit is named V, ready to eddies. We're back at Boba territory, stay from Star Wars. Yeah. What are your thoughts? And it obviously gives +2 power. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, no. I actually preferred it before the change, I think. But ready and 2 eddies when attached to V is just bonkers. If you're playing any quick hacks in your deck, like any quick cards, any quick legends, like just readying them 2 eddies and saying, I've got interaction basically. I'm gonna respond to what you do. I think that just puts your opponents in such an interesting position. You've got to play into it if you're the one who, if you're sitting across the table from someone who's just ready 2 eddies, you've got to make them do the thing. I think it's quite impactful. It can really change how you're playing, as you go through the turns. But yeah, and then plus the 2 power. Nothing to be sniffed at. You attach this to the corporate exile V, and it's 10. Take 2 gigs, ready 2 eddies. Very good.
And that basically means this becomes free, Kieran, if you're ready those 2 eddies. What's not to like about that?
Yes, it does. And whenever we can play stuff, for free, we like them cards. I like it. I think it's going to be, because it's sellable as well. So, it's always got that if you don't need to use the card. I think it's impactful, like Steve says. I think it's going to see a lot of play. It'd be interesting for me to see how many V units we have in the different colours, and how many options we get to attach us to get the full effect of it. I'm not sure at the minute how many Vs we've got out there in different colours that have been revealed.
I think we've got 1 in each. Is there going to be 1 in each? Because I know they've got the 1 in red. I'm pretty sure you got the... I'm pretty sure there's 1 in most of the colours at least, I think.
Yeah.
So with this being available in all blue decks, it would be able to be attached to them all.
Yeah. No, I assume there will be fees in every deck. But I think it's, like Steve says, it's a solid card. It's 2 cost. You get the +2, as you say. And it works well with the decrease of gig by up to 2. Because that's yours or opponent, isn't it? So you can use it to, if you're wanting to get down to minimum, or if you're playing the Arasaka build and you need to knock theirs down, or if you need to knock someone's up, you've got that flexibility in the card and the gig play around, which I quite like about it. It doesn't limit you to yours or your opponent's gigs, which is a nice
also think it's nice with Jackie Wells. Jackie Wells, if you have him in gig, draw a card.
Yeah.
So consider Jackie for that as well.
Yeah, these blue cards are looking very synergistic. I'm liking it. The more we see, I'm liking blue a lot more.
It is, and I think every card, quite a lot of cards we've talked about, we've gone, oh, that links very nicely with this card, and this card, and this card. The more we've gone through it, the bigger what this links with. It's just been getting each time.
No, definitely.
Very impactful. So next, we're going to move on to Floor It. Floor It is a program. It is a 1 RAM program. It is sellable. It is a Merc quick hack, and it is a quick. Give a rival unit -1 power this turn. Draw a card. Obviously, this is heavily changed from what it originally was. Can't remember what it originally was, but
so it was originally retain a 3 cost, but it was a 3 cost, but it was retain a rival unit with 4 or less cost to a spent rival unit with 4 or less cost to their hand.
So what do we think about this one, though?
I think it's got so much worse. So much worse. It's a cantrip. That's all it is now. It's just the -1 power is not really that impactful. I mean, you can do it on their turn. So it's like draw. You essentially load your hand up. You keep 1 Eddie ready. You give them -1. I mean, you can stop them from stealing 2 gigs if they go from 10 to 9. I just don't see it being that impactful. But the draw one's nice. Pay 1, draw the cards. Never bad.
And we technically play it for free. What are your thoughts on that, Kieran?
I like it. I don't think it's impactful, as Steve says, but I think it's a solid card to have in the deck. The fact that you can sell it, it gives you the flexibility. If you're in a bind, pay 1, draw 1. It's always useful. And you've got the little quick hack there. Like Steve says there, if you can take it from a 10 to a 9, it saves you a gig. It's not an amazing card, in my opinion, but it's probably something I would play in a blue deck as maybe a 2-3 off, just because all the flexibility it offers between selling, drawing, and potentially stopping 2 gigs go to 1 gig, etc. So I think it's solid. It's nothing special, but we need solid cards in the game. So
you need stuff like this to be there. Like this is always stuff that you will see. Yeah, I think it's, to be honest, I think I'm just upset that they've changed it. I think it was so much better when it was the other version of the card. Even with the draw the card, I think just bouncing something back to their hand just felt really good.
Yeah, I think.
And
do you
not think though,
them,
Steve, if they left it as. Sorry, do you not think if they left it out originally was being able to play it then for free and then bouncing a unit back after you've already bouncing 2 units back, pay the cost, bounce the unit, then play the other card, get to use it from the trash for free. So basically bouncing 2 units for 3 might have been a bit powerful.
Yeah, but we need good cards in card games. Like, I don't mind that.
The more good cards, the better, Steel say.
Yeah. The last card we're going to talk about today is a Brain Dance program. It is a 3 cost, 1 Eddie, so we can go in every single blue deck. A rival unit cannot attack until your next turn. If you control a min gig, you may call a legend for free. Kieran, what do you think about our Brain Dance here?
Seems very powerful on first read. You stop an attack, and hopefully by the time you play this, you're probably going to be on a minimum gig. So then you get into Call a Legend for free. So I think if you can get both of them effects off, it's a game swinger.
Yeah.
It's basically blocks an attack and gets a big body on board because your legends are going to be pretty beefy or impactful plays, aren't they? So I really like it, and the fact you can sell it. Worst case, and it's 1 RAM. I don't see any drawbacks to this card, to be honest. I think it's very powerful. It's going to see a lot of play, and you can get it back from trash, can't you, with the synergy from some of the other cards because it's a free cost. So yeah, I don't see any downside at the minute.
What about your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. No, it's so as Kieran just mentioned, I don't think we can get this back because it's not a program. That that would have made it so much better. But
Is it
the
not
effect?
program?
No, it's just a brain
It's a program.
dance. Oh yeah,
Is
it
it
is.
a
Sorry.
program?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Yeah, apologies. Yeah, no, yeah.
That's all right.
You're absolutely spot on. Then I think that this is definitely one that's going to see a lot of play because we can just get it back, and doing this every turn, doing this potentially multiple times in a game can just really slow your opponent down.
And think of it though, Steve, as well. You played this. You've got the secondary effect where you flipped your legend. Your legend happened to be V Street Kid, which then you trashed through and add a brain dance program from your trash to your hand. You just add it straight back to your hand again.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so good. Doing that, just stopping them attacking basically every turn is just you need to attack to win the game basically. So,
Yeah. Any freeze like kind of effects like this or against an opponent's board is massive in my opinion. Like nullifying attacks, it just stalls your opponent so hard.
Yeah.
And if you can loop it and do it multiple times, it's tough to get out of it.
No, it is, and that's the thing. It's like getting to do those things for free, potentially, or like multiple times in a turn, just turns off what they want to do.
What Adam Smasher? You want to swing with that big Adam Smasher unit? No. He's sitting there forever.
No, sir.
I'll keep getting him back out. I'll use V to get the brain dance program back again, so I can then stop it again. Oh, then I'll also do it the next turn because I've used it. I'll then get it back and use that unit. What was it, Evelyn, who basically allowed me to play it for free from my trash. So I'll play it again for free, but that time it's bought. So 3 turns in a row you can use it.
Yeah, and
it's good. Nice. I'm quite liking the what's the word? A board control to a degree with the blue stuff of bottom decking and freezing opponents. Cards. What blue seems to have going on at the minute. So I'm interested to see what reveals we get, which can potentially work around this or stop them from doing this to you. Or if it is going to be once they get going.
Yeah, there's got to be something, isn't there, that can be like a quick hack that'll say stop an opponent playing a program maybe, which would really slow blue down. Yeah,
because at the minute, just reading some of these, it does feel. Once they start getting into it, what do you do?
I also, it seems like it's quite good at, stopping your opponent from basically locking your opponent down a little bit, which we've seen in other games how impactful some cards like that can be, whether it be from Lorcana with like Elsa, being able to freeze opponents' characters for turns, and we've seen in other games how impactful it is if you can stall your opponent, particularly in a game like this where you've got a very finite game clock, where obviously you just, particularly we've only really got 7-8 phases when you can turns when you consider the overtime rules. If you can stop them from being able to take those gigs later on and you're able to swing back unattested, it's over.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. When you're on the clock, swinging and taking gigs life is how you win the game. Like if you're getting stalled on that, you're in a bit of a bind. You need to get creative and try and figure a way out, which isn't always easy, as we know.
No. And that's the thing. There's a lot of synergy there, isn't there? Because if you've got the min gigs, then obviously Oath allows you to play this for less. You can imagine playing that for 1, putting it into your trash, and then playing it again for 1 out of your trash. Like that's the dream, isn't it? Like it's just that'll just win games on the spot, I think.
Seen some pretty powerful cards today. I'm quite a fan of some of these blue cards. I've not looked at the blue cards until now. But yeah, I'm quite liking them.
And obviously, make sure everyone, if you are still wanting to look at all the rest of the cards that are available, of our previous review of the red cards are available on YouTube. Please do check that one out, as well as obviously go to the Cyberpunk website and view all the cards are available to there if you want to have a bit of a nose about what cards have been released so far. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, do all those things across all the various platforms, TikTok, like Instagram, YouTube, you name it, we're everywhere. But thank you very much for listening, and thank you, Kieran, thank you, Stephen, for your time as always.
Yep.
We'll be back soon with another episode where we'll be reviewing a different colour next time. Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye.